You have to really diversify how you're getting seen out there, especially with the way AI is looking at things. So we feel that we have to step up and prove our worth to our clients as partners as opposed to just technical executioners, because we're more than that. I mean, I've got the brand strategist from Jaguar Land Rover. I got one of the best data scientists in the world. We're more than just somebody that can create Google ads for you.
Yeah. This is Right Media Group Chronicles, your shortcut to sharper ideas, smarter moves, and creative breakthroughs. Let's roll.
Welcome to today's episode. For those of you just joining the podcast, we are Right Media Group and specialize in helping marketing agencies scale their revenue. If you want to learn how to take your agency business to the next level, make sure to stick around. We have an incredible guest today, PJ Haarsma, founder and CEO of Red Bear Films. PJ, would you mind to introduce yourself and Red Bear Films to our audience?
Thank you for having me. I love being here. Thank you. Red Bear Films is a digital hybrid and production company, a digital agency and production company here in Southern California. I started years ago in the 90s, late 80s actually. Oh my God, how old am I? As a fashion photographer. And then a director, producer, we had a production company. And then about 10 years ago, I had been working on the agency side. I'd worked at Crispin Porter and Wonderman. And I went to Hollywood to do a TV show. And then when I quit that, I kind of got Red Bear going again, but more as a digital agency with the production component. And that's how we've been for the last 10 years.
So you reinvented the business per se to adjust more to the agency owner marketing angle.
We had been in production so much. I'd done commercials for Best Buy and American Express and Microsoft, and production was my thing. When I had gone to Hollywood and spent a few years there, I did that TV series Con Man with Nathan Fillion and Alan Tudyk. When Alan didn't want to do it anymore and we quit, I just thought I'd go back to production. But in that few years, so many people had moved on. Production had gotten so difficult. I was struggling to sell what I used to be able to sell. The middle of production had disappeared. It was either the big boys and they were hurting, or people doing it on their phones. I remember sitting in a meeting once with Invisalign, and one of the C-suite people interrupted the meeting and held their phone up and go, "Hey, look at my kid made this last night. Why can't we just do this?" And I knew the end was in sight. Production, we came up with a different production model. It was when content production was really the buzzwords back then. And we created an agency model that kind of rolled production up into one element. So you would get all the SEO, everything that you needed in that world, plus the production all tied in together for one retainer. And that worked really well for a while, but that too has changed.
So are you now at the stage that you also need to reinvent yourself with the new trends and everything that's coming out?
Well, the problem that happened is that when agencies that deliver on tactics, right? Ads, SEO, posts, videos, when you are delivering on those tactical executions, then it's very easy to become commoditized. So despite the fact that you're doing a great job, there's a price for a service and you're going to get shopped. And people are going to, okay, well, you can do my ROI 3% for that retainer. These guys will do four times the ROI, or these guys do the same thing and the retainer's $1,000 cheaper. And you're getting priced to the bottom because the clients don't value your business partnership, your ability to solve problems. So with what's happening with Google, and for so many years it was just put all your money into Google, but that too is crumbling and it's really getting fragmented, and you have to be in a sort of, for a shitty word, omni-channel approach. You have to really diversify how you're getting seen out there, especially with the way AI is looking at things. So we feel that we have to step up and prove our worth to our clients as partners as opposed to just technical executioners, because we're more than that. I mean, I've got the brand strategist from Jaguar Land Rover. I got one of the best data scientists in the world. We're more than just somebody that can create Google ads for you.
Yeah, no, you had some incredible partnerships from who you worked with back in the day, and also maybe some that you can't disclose.
What I work for,
That we
I
probably
work
should
for everybody. I've worked for, oh my God, I've
maybe
worked
shouldn't
for,
talk about on the podcast.
I mean, Shell's one of our clients. We work both at agencies and direct clients. We work for the Department of Defense for the U.S. Navy. We work for one of the largest
That's the
candy
one I wasn't sure whether
distributors.
I was allowed to mention. I wasn't sure if there's
Yeah.
an
Oh, yeah.
NDA somewhere.
I can't talk about what I do there, but
Oh, I see. Okay.
we're doing one right now for the Missile Defense Agency in Huntsville, Alabama.
Huge, huge, huge clients, clearly. I mean, there's so much like that you can clearly do for your for clients, potential clients as well. So it's kind of sad that now we're in this saturated space where you're getting like nagged at for your price, even though you know the value that you deliver is
But
there.
I think that's my fault. I think it's my
Do
fault
you?
because I've commoditized myself and I go and I advertise it as, hey, we'll beat this ROI or we'll do it for this price.
Mm.
And so I think that's a self-inflicted wound. Yes,
Mm.
it came out of this content war and then AI just when it first came in, it just put fuel in the fire
Mhm.
and it just did not become a sustainable or growable way to improve my client base
Mhm.
and avoid content churn. Like we've been running through the numbers lately and looking at, the lifetime value of a client, how long we keep them and in order for us to grow those numbers, we really have to change from how we talk about ourselves and really change the narrative on who we are. And it also means not taking on clients that are looking to buy a commodity. It's just not us. We're not, if you don't want us to sit down on a weekly basis and talk about how marketing can help solve some of your business problems, we're not you. We're not for you. We had a client recently that we let
Mhm.
go. We had found an issue in their system that wasn't converting their Google ads. And it was like by a crazy number, right? Like they're literally wasting money. And the CEO told us to stay in our lane. And I was like, what
Hmm.
do you mean stay in our lane? It is our lane. Making you money
Mhm.
off the leads that we bring you in, it is our lane. So I tease people that I'm going to write a book when I retire called The CEO Blind Spot. And it's really, I tell my team is like, when you deal with these solopreneurs or these entrepreneurs, or we deal a lot with the C-suites with the clients. When you run into a blind spot that they have, whether it's like they don't trust marketing or they don't believe in video content or whatever their belief is, I'm just pulling these out of my butt. But if
Mhm.
you don't have the ability to prove what you do works, then pack your bags. We're never going to get over this hump because that CEO is going to blame it on something that you can't fix. So we've run into that more than once in our time. And I always say the earlier that we can find out, preferably before we sign them on as a client, the better it's going to be.
Do you have any steps you take in order to find out whether they're going to be a difficult client to work with?
I
Or
do.
still in the making? But you
I
do?
do. I have a very extensive second meeting. I call it the chemistry meeting,
Mm.
where I asked a lot of questions in order to try to pull out what their true goals are and what their true problems are. And you can tell a lot in those meetings. And we've been doing it so long now that we get off and my team is like, oh, okay, they're going to be a problem. So those we
Mhm.
just take our foot off the gas or let them quietly go away. Like we had one client and I can't say the name, but it was that CEO that wanted to change the way we think and refused to use a terminology in their marketing that they were trying to invent a whole new category for their brand. And they did not want to mention this word that, as we show them the data, 99.97% of all internet searches include this term. And she's like, I don't care. I don't want to use it anywhere in our marketing. I'm like, okay, you're going to fail because even if to do it as a comparison, this, not that, she wouldn't even do that. It's just like, okay, right, we're not going to be able to help you. I mean, we're showing you the
Yeah.
data on how this works. We've given you creative solutions to fix this. You're just falling on that sword, and it's not going to work. It's just not going to
Yeah,
work.
it's like you said previously, sometimes they have their belief system for something that they're like, I'm not going to do that. This is what I believe in. This is what's going to work. But unfortunately, the numbers sometimes say a different story. And that's what you can really see
But I
down.
can't blame them. I'm the same way because that thinking is bred out of that entrepreneurial mindset, right?
Mhm.
When you're an entrepreneur, a successful one anyways, you have to really go against the grain a lot of times with your opinions, the things that you're going to do. And you often go against close people early on in your family, your loved ones. And you really do sometimes feel you're out there all alone. And you and when you're right, it sort of reinforces that ideology that I know better. But you forget to fail that most entrepreneurs, there's like dozens and dozens of failed ideas behind them, but they're not counting on those failed
Yeah.
ideas. And then the other problem is why hire a marketing agency if you think you know better? And then it goes back to that commodity because they don't know how to run Google ads and they want you to, they don't want to take the time to learn it or pay for in-house people. So they want you to do it, but they don't want you to actually do any marketing. They just want you to push the levers and pull the buttons.
Yeah, I don't think they want you to take the reins in a way, but sometimes you have to. But like you
Yeah.
said, the 99 point whatever keyword, that's something you had to use in order to stand out and get results.
We brought a company on and it was a very easy example for us back in the day where, they were trying to come on and take an older company and bring it into the digital age. And there were some younger people involved in the company who really were pushing for somebody like Red Bear to come in and modernize them. And the current C-suite was very old school and really argued with our system. And I'm like, God, how did I let this get past me? And it really argued with our system to the point where I was just like, forget it, fuck it. I was so done. I was like, listen, we already got a contract. You don't believe in what we do. Let me put my money where my mouth is, and I'll do this. And if it doesn't work, then it's all on me. Walk away. You can get out of the contract. Nothing happens. You're safe. And very adamant that you're going to fail, PJ. You're going to fail. I'm like, okay, cool. And we increased his ROI in 12 months by 300% following our
These are
system.
numbers.
We're talking big dollars, so it's a lot of money. And at the end of it all, we're doing our yearly review, and I was like, I thought, aren't you happy? Shouldn't you be happy? And then he goes, yeah, but I made a lot of money, but people still don't know who I am. And I said to him, that's not what you asked me. You asked me to make you money. You didn't ask me to make you famous. You want me to make you famous? That's a whole other strategy. He goes, yeah, I want people to know who I am. So the next year we made him famous. Did he make more money? No, but he was famous. Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, unfortunately, it's the type of person you're going to end up with. Nothing's going to be good enough, even if you achieve crazy ROI like 300%. I mean,
Yeah.
so how many companies would be ecstatic with that number?
I have one recently, the client that we just let go, we were making them $500,000 a month on a $30,000 ad spend.
500, let me just get my head around. $500,000?
A month on a $30,000 ad spend.
Wow.
From zero.
You let them,
They went from zero. Oh, it was a nightmare client, just a nightmare client. That was the one that told me to stay in my lane. So that's half the battle. Like sometimes, and I'm an entrepreneur too. I have a big ego, and sometimes I have to step back and just, one of my leadership guys, Drew, he's very good at that. He just knows how to just not say anything and let it play out, and he wins more than I win.
okay, fair enough.
It's hard because I tell my youngest daughter that all the time. Do you want to be right or do you want to win? And she's like, well, what do you do, Daddy?
Well, I'm going to be using that line now.
You want to be right or you want to win?
Yeah. So you also won an Emmys and
I
worked
did.
on huge campaigns. So
Yep.
can you share a project that truly showed you the power of storytelling to get results? I mean, there's a few we touched points on in the pre-podcast.
We were working for Best Buy, and I
Mm.
was the agency producer on creating the ad campaign for Best Buy. And Best Buy was struggling to get people to come in their stores. And we did a $36 million production for the Christmas campaign. And it was all just stories of nostalgia. Like we rented the house from the Christmas Story, and got the lamp with the leg with the lamp to put in the window and shot that. And Christmas Story, the old where the kid gets his tongue stuck on the cold sign.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the father wins that leg, the lady's leg in the stocking with the lamp, that house and that lamp. So we did all these cool stories, and it was highly successful campaign, and that was huge.
A huge investment as well.
It was huge. It was the biggest one I've ever worked on. Here's another one though, that this is storytelling. So I was in a room with I'm going to say 10 men. And we were brainstorming on how to make women feel bad about their teeth. We were trying to
Go
figure
on. I'm interested now.
why that you would go and get something to straighten your teeth. And, all the guys from their POVs. And the CMO was late. And the CMO was the only woman in the meeting. And she comes in the meeting and she comes back and she sits down and she goes, "What are you guys doing?" And I goes, "Oh, we're just trying to find out, when do you notice that your teeth are not perfect?" And she immediately pops up and goes, "Oh, when I'm putting on my lipstick." And then the 10 men in the room all started making fun of it and, taking it a personal responsibility in the sense of, well, I never put lipstick on, so I'm never going to notice that. And they immediately move on. The ECD, good friend of mine, Anthony DiBiase, he had the smarts to go, wait a second, think about that for a minute. And let her go on. And then she explained and the whole process. And then so him and I, with the one other writer, we wrote a commercial all based upon the moment where a woman is at a nightclub in the bathroom putting lipstick on in the mirror. And it was their best producing commercial. It ran forever. It was such an amazing commercial. And it's that thing where I tell my team now is like, when you're talking to a client, and we beg our clients, like, listen, here's my phone number, text me the littlest of insights that you get or feedback you get from clients. Just share them with us, because you never know what little insight that we don't have, because we're sitting in another office in some other city, not on the day-to-day activity. We don't get to see the insights. What little insight you come across, please share with us, because you may think it's small and nothing, but you can turn it into something very, very cool.
Okay, no, fair enough. And obviously, so that was a very successful campaign then in the end?
Very. Yeah, it was hugely successful. It ran for years. Yeah, one ran for years.
Wow.
So, and the same thing, the one we won the Emmy with, that was a true story. It was based upon a woman here in California who had to have the choice. She was pregnant and she had breast cancer, and she had to do the choice of baby or you. Like, one of you is going to die. Pick it. And then UCI came in and said, no. We'll make you both live. Both people lived, both baby and the woman lived. And that's what the commercial is about. And that one is powerful. That'll make you cry.
That's a huge emotional trigger going on there.
Yeah. And just for a little trivia, I'm the VO of the doctor, the naysayer doctor in the background.
What? You're the sorry?
I had the voiceover of the doctor in the back of the commercial.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, we're just stuck in the editing room, and we needed a voice, and the guy goes, "PJ, get up to the mic, say it." So I was the doctor and the voice.
Well, you do have a very kind of deep voice, so I can see that fitting in.
It's
quite
just
well.
the microphone. It's just the microphone.
Is it just the mic? Okay, I need to get a better mic then.
I always tease when they come on the phone, is like, I feel like one of those late night talk show hosts. So the last time you were discussing your rash, do you want to continue on that story?
Yeah, right. That's where it clicks in, because the things that put you to sleep, like there's somebody reading a story.
Do that voice, yeah. I'll just read children's books to
very
put people to
calming
sleep
as well. So many agencies struggle to scale beyond a few clients. So what's your secret to growing past that point? And
it's a
what
tough
common
one.
mistakes do you see agencies make, or maybe some personal ones that you've made?
No, I personally struggle with this. So I feel a lot of agencies fall into two categories, and this is my own personal opinion, and it's just what I observe. The people that really work on the funnel versus the product, and the people that really work on the product versus the funnel. So the people that work on the funnel, they have a lot of churn as the product doesn't deliver what it promises. Not saying that it all does that. And on the other side, my side was, because I was working so hard on making sure the product worked, because I can't sell something that doesn't work. I didn't spend any time on the funnel. Like, Red Bear's the worst at advertising Red Bear, just the worst. And everything was word of mouth. And you make the joke that a CEO says to another CEO, I got a problem you need to fix, and the guy goes, I got a guy, and I'm that guy. And 99% of everything we do is come through word of mouth. You can't scale on that. You can't scale on word of mouth.
Oh, yeah.
So we are in the middle of it right now. So you have to check back with me later on what we're doing is going to work. But first of all, it's a fundamental shift in how we describe ourselves, getting away from tactical executioners to being more, business partners for the
Mm.
agency. And I'm still laying out the foundation of the narrative, but we're honing our skills into, certain groups. We're sticking with government agencies, healthcare, and consumer goods. I mean, there's some broad categories there, but we do really well in those categories. And then we're realigning how we service our clients. I've never been a big fan of account people. I feel that
Financials.
it can put an agency out of sync because a lot of account people are measured by how happy the client is, and in order to keep their jobs, they'll side with the client over the agency, and that's not good. And I've seen that too many times. Not to say there's not great account people. There's awesome account people. So I'm looking at changing that role, but also to be able to let that role help us uncover the problems the clients need to have solved, and then using our marketing skills to be able to uh, help them grow. And in that sense, I think we'll have a better product. But there I go again, right? I'm worried more about the product again instead of the funnel. So
Because you
the
want to make
funnel,
sure what you deliver. No, I understand that point because you want to make sure what you deliver actually works. It delivers and it helps the agency. But then again, it's like you say, you need to have that balance.
and then I've cold calling, cold emailing. Nobody's going to pay what we charge off a cold email and nobody's going to search the internet and find us and ask for us. It has to come from some sort of introduction. So how do you do that? How do you get those levels of introductions? I talked to one agency owner a little bit ago, and he was doing something I was very impressed with. Now he was growing his agency through acquisition. So you know that model, right? Where you just get a bunch of money and you just keep buying agencies, and then you have a conglomerate. And what he's doing is he understands the warm lead concept, and he's creating an army of salespeople that have Rolodexes. I'm aging myself again, but these people that have these connections to people in businesses, and helping them with their business problems. So we've been working on growing that side of Red Bear and having more of those biz dev types people, and knowing that once their Rolodex is out, they're left with cold calls, and that's just really hard. We have a cold call system. We have, our guy Dave, he's our biz dev, and that guy, I call him my turtle, my bulldog. He just doesn't stop. He just keeps on going. And what he does is just puts our name in front of people so that when they do have a problem, they'll think about us. And that's a long time, right? Like, so we're working with a client right now looking to bring in out of Poland, and he's been nurturing that for 2 years. So those funnels take too long.
Yeah.
So I don't have an answer for you yet on how to
Mhm.
scale. It's that $2 million a year number. Is getting
Mhm.
past that $2 million a year number is really a tough one for a lot of agencies.
Mhm.
That's usually based on the founders going out. That 2 million comes from the founders Rolodex, not in my case.
Yeah, I
But
mean, especially difficult, like you say, scaling to 2 million, past 2 million with referrals, because like you said, you can't scale referrals,
no,
unfortunately.
you can't. You can't. So getting past that number is, and we cross it, and then we have problems. We go over it and then come back, go over it, come back. It's you diversify. So the hybrid model with the production allows us to get past that number, because those one-off projects are different. But I would really love to figure out a way to keep that that funnel full of clients that I'm pitching. So I don't have an answer.
Because you don't want just leads, you want high qualified, high value leads that are, they can afford what you offer and they're hopefully looking for that service. So
But
it kind of,
they can be successful with the way we market. We do marketing, right? Because the worst is to have somebody that you're misaligned, because then you're just going to spend all that time onboarding, all that time, getting them up to speed, and then they're going to be gone. And that's onboarding is always a busier time. So
Mhm.
it's, the qualified lead. Is it the right fit for your agency? I don't think a lot of people pay attention to that. I know I didn't.
Mm.
You become this, whoever calls, we'll figure it out for them.
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore.
Mhm. You
But
learned your
it's
lesson,
hard.
eh?
It's hard to say no. Somebody's got.
Uh-huh.
We tried really hard. This one wine company in Spain wanted us so bad, and I
Mm.
said no, 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 like 5 times, and then finally I caved, and it ended poorly. It really ended poorly. I was right, not try to be right, but it's you really got to look at your agency and you got to look at what those people want from you. And can you deliver in a manner that you're both successful, not just them?
So you shared that cold email hasn't worked for you. Why do you think that is?
A lot of reasons. Well, there's a
Yeah.
few of them. So I must get, every morning I wake up, I must have 100 cold emails in my inbox. And A, I don't have time to go through them. And B, they all sound the same. So I just erase them. They just get erased immediately. And then the same with LinkedIn. LinkedIn is just as bad. Personally, and I may have a bias about it, but if I'm not, my wife says this to me all the time, if I'm not asking that question, I'm not looking for that answer.
Hmm.
So how do you find the clients that are trying to answer the question? And what's the question? It's very simple. How's your marketing? That's the question that needs to be asked. And that's the first thing that my peeps do. They go out and they go, hey, how's your marketing? It's great. Okay, cool. Have fun. I don't know. I can't figure it out. Hey, well, I got a guy. He'll take a look. There's no charge. He'll take a look. And we do a lot first. We really inspect that client. We run numbers on them. My data team goes in the back and tries to get as much out of it as we can. Then we have that chemistry meeting.
Hmm.
And then we meet internally. And then we go, can we help these guys? And there's been several times where I call them back and go, you're doing not bad. You're doing pretty good. Do these few things. Here's a competitor report. All I can do is help you maybe 5, 6, 7%. And they're like, thanks. Thanks for the honesty. I don't try to sell them if I can't really. I want them to be so damn happy they picked Red Bear.
I see. So is that where your retention rate comes from, your current clients?
I believe that because I was doing the numbers recently, because we
You
we
mentioned
lost
that.
2 clients this year, and I was like, God, we shouldn't have lost either of these.
Two
But
clients in a year. I'm sure many agents would say that's the good case scenario.
that's a commodity. Our
Mm.
retention is around 31 months for
Mhm.
a client, and yeah, I think it could be a little bit better. Some are saying that 14 months is the number now, but I think that's because of all those SEO agencies. They just churn through 6 and 12 month contracts. 14 months makes sense for a 12-month contract because they spend 2 months quibbling about it. We don't do contracts. We have no contracts with our clients. They're just, come on, if you don't like us, leave. I just ask you for 30 days just so I get a month out of you. But we have no contracts. And we've got some clients that have been with us from the beginning, like 10 years.
So in our chat previously, you mentioned that you hate traditional networking.
I
So what
do.
makes you dislike it so much, and
I
how would you
know.
say that impacts you to grow your business?
I know. And I'm thinking about this client of mine just trying to convince me to join this organization that's all about networking. So I filled out the application. I'm already regretting it. But I don't know what it is about it with networking is I think here's the problem. I don't like selling myself. I don't like going to people and trying to weasel into their needs list and try to sell myself. I mean, just look me up, look it up. I mean, that there's enough there to show that we know what we're doing. I love it when somebody comes to me and goes, I got a problem. I used to sign my emails, I'll fix it. And then when I worked at Crispin, they used to call me the fixer because I used to come in and fix all the problems.
Mhm.
But I I love the challenge of fixing something. I don't like the challenge of trying to convince you need me because there is this, I don't know, it's my own ego, it's my own issues. There's this thing where I don't want to be mistrusted, I guess. I don't want you to think I'm lying to you. And, when I
Uh,
feel that come at me, my guard goes up so much. So it's
I see.
obviously a personal issue. And that's why I need to delegate those roles. So it's not me doing them and let other people go do them. But yeah, the networking thing is tough for me. I did it. We recently landed a piece of the Catholic Church, and I went to one of their high revenue uh, events, right?
Mhm.
I was nervous I've never been around this many wealthy people before.
Wow.
And I'm just standing in a corner. I didn't do nothing. I just stood in the corner the whole night, waited for the hors d'oeuvre guy to go by and would take that. Or Take
No,
that little
but you
glass of
mentioned
wine over
another
there.
scenario when we spoke previously. You mentioned about being in London in a pub, and it was raining, so there was a lot of people underneath the roof, and you just said people connected. You started talking, and then people connected. Shared their own stories, and you said you enjoy that, but it's when it comes to the point of you trying to sell yourself, that's the issue, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I'm one of the best talkers in the world. I can be
Mhm.
anywhere and have a conversation and make friends with people. I just don't like selling myself. I just don't like, and I guess networking, you're supposed to do that, and then the selling comes later. But I guess because I know that I'm just there to try to get your card or phone
I see. It
number,
doesn't
and
feel genuine to you.
yeah, it doesn't feel genuine to me. So maybe that's the problem. Maybe I need to see a therapist about it.
You know what, PJ? There's you have many other strengths clearly, and you said you like to solve problems, and I think that's where your strength lies.
It
Don't
does,
try
yeah.
to. I mean, it's good to get out of your comfort zone, but at the same time, if it feels so unnatural to just let somebody else handle it for you in your business.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm working on. So if anybody want to do sales, call me.
So, in regards to AI, PJ, I'm very
Mhm.
excited to ask, how are you utilizing AI today? Are you implementing it in your business?
Yeah, so we definitely use AI. We've started this
Hmm.
pilot program. We started this pilot program called the Red Bear Pulse. And
Hmm.
because so many people are going to jump on this AI bandwagon and it's going to really drive down the cost of production, especially at the level that I've done it at and that my friends still do it at. And I always think the high end production will stay, but the middle is just going to get erased. And the bottom is going to be a lot of these people putting out, people call it AI slop, but I don't know. It's not going to stay that way. And so what I wanted to do was knowing how production is done and the purpose of production to create that content that motivates a consumer to take an action for your client, because that's really why we make that stuff. How can I use AI to enhance that? So I'm not going to go to Walmart or Target or those people and try to sell them AI. They can spend their money and they do. But I wanted to find those people, and I found a few where they've got an idea, a product or something, and they cannot get it off the ground. They're solopreneurs. It's a big idea. They're younger people. They're struggling companies that they're not super wealthy, and we've identified their problem, and we think we can fix this solution with content, and then we bring in AI. So I'll give you an example. So there was this disruptor in education, and she has this grand plan to hook up with companies and create an online schooling system that attaches people that want a job in a particular field with that company. And the company ends up paying for the person's education, but the company gets first crack at these people when they hit the work world, right? I don't know if I explained that very well, but the idea is that you can't afford college. You're going to be able to go to ASU online, and it'll all be paid for. You are this company gets to watch your grades, gets to offer you jobs if they want it.
Oh.
You're kind of indebted to them in a little bit. In no way by contract or anything, these people are in the background watching. You don't even know who they're there. So she wanted a commercial to attract investors and partners, and she can't afford it. She can't pay for the commercial. The commercial that we ended up doing for her would have cost $750,000, easy. So we used the process, and just like we would a commercial, from concepts to storyboards to casting to everything, we did it using AI and created her a 90-second anthem piece. And uh,
Mm.
and it was 100% AI. And she already got like 3 investors off it. She's got a government contract aligned with it, and
Oh.
it worked for her. Now people are going to go, "Oh, you took all the money away from those production people." Listen, those production people are my best friends. I've worked with those people for 30 years. I wouldn't do that to them.
Mhm.
This was never going to be made into commercial to begin with. This was
Mhm.
never going to be done. And a whole bunch of other people got hired and will get hired as this business goes live. So I justify it that way. People will argue the hell out of it with me, but
Mhm.
the idea is that you come in here, we do the AI commercial spot for you that fits, but we get to do the ad buy and the optimization. So we still attach the wonderment to the production part of it. And then people that you're not going to go to Walmart and do this. You're not going to Target and do this. We did another one with a client of ours that was really hurting. Their business model is getting out of date, but it's old school. They're holding on to it. And we created a whole AI campaign for them. They did the media buy and increased their store turns by, God, again, I think like 253. So they were extremely happy. And then we're looking at one other person, and that should be my third person for my test. And then through that, I think I'll have a pretty decent system on how to help companies with AI, as opposed to just going, and we're not doing production anymore. We're going to do all AI. There's some of the stuff that I'm seeing in AI on production, you don't even know about it yet. Like I went to this one thing where they're using AI to create, to meld green screen shots with plates for film. And then this guy created an AI way to take all the different texture maps from your footage and then use those to create the background plate and mold them together seamlessly. I was floored. And it was just like this 22-year-old kid that figured this out. I was floored. I'm like, well, when that comes, no one's going to be able to tell the difference.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible. And what sort of, I know you're very like passionate about production as well, but what sort of tools do you think are out there in regards to AI that are getting good? I've
Well,
heard of VO3 personally, or VO2.
yeah. VO3 is great. It has its limitations. You have to cut the spot in a different way. Continuity is an issue, but you have to use LoRa in order to help you keep the people the same. There's a lot of agenics out there that are just using ChatGPT or Sora or VO3 in the background anyways. I'm always like, just learn to do it yourself. And is great when you're trying to create agenics for data models. We've built some proprietary stuff ourselves in the background so that we can help clients source through data, help us with our government contracts, on government contracts. I don't know if you're used to them, but you can get 300 pages of information and you got to sort through those 300 pages just to find the two that you're supposed to pay attention to. And AI helps me with that real fast. It's still, and this is the most important part, and this is the part that our team strives to achieve all the time, is you can use AI as a tool the way a designer would use Photoshop, but it still requires that human element to make sure it connects with its intended party in a human emotional manner. So, these people that get in trouble because they got caught hallucinating, or there's slop that was inside there. There's nobody checking it. There's nobody, going against using it and holding it up against the consumer's journey. So we have a very stringent SOP on if we're using AI on how to make sure that it's touched by enough human bodies to make sure that it's still achieving the original goals. And we just didn't ask AI to do it to get out of doing the work.
Yeah,
So in
unfortunately,
that
this
way,
is
it takes
where
more time.
AI lacks human emotion, because that's one of the main reasons why somebody clicks on your ad. It triggers some sort of emotion from you, and unfortunately, AI is very lacking in that as of this moment.
Well, you're gonna see a lot of it. Like I just read an article the other day, but I still can't believe this number. It was at L'Oreal is making 50,000 AI videos a month.
Wow,
And
50,000.
50,000. So it's just going to be that. And I hate saying AI slop because I love anything done creatively. And I still think, you have to be very creative to use AI well. But I think we're in this stage of oversaturation of content. And what will happen is that the good stuff will start to rise, and those that still connect emotionally are always going to come to the top. And I think that the other element that this is the thing that I found interesting is with AI and that whole desire now, because, Google is crumbling in its search dominance. And, everybody's talking about how do I get mentioned by AI? I think we're seeing the importance of brand come back. Because if people are not talking about your brand, all the social signals of that conversation aren't out in the Ethernet, whatever. What was that old term they used to call that when they didn't know what air was? In the ether. And AI uses so many different signals in order to throw up an answer that it's really important now that people are talking about your brand. And AI can't do that. You have to do that. You have to be creative. You have to think of ways to get people to talk about your brand. But for the last 15 years, brand was was a four-letter word. Try to get a client to pay for brand lift. Nobody would do it. It was all like, I give you
Mhm.
$10. I want you to run $10 of ads and give me back 20. And that's
And
changing now.
now we're in a new era where everyone's like, I need a personal brand in order to stand out.
Well, yeah, we're coming back to brand. So are people going to
Mhm.
invest in that? That's a tough one. That's a long-term investment, and you got to be creative, and you got to be willing to fail, and you got to be willing to make mistakes. Things didn't
So
work.
I've seen that Red Bird is expanding globally with new offices. So
Yeah.
what would you say is driving that big move, and what opportunities and challenges do you see ahead of this expansion?
Well, part of it is I don't like living in the United States anymore, but I'm a Canadian,
Ah.
so I'm a socialist at heart. So there's that element. But I do believe that there still is a want for companies to break into the American market, especially on the in the retail side. So we have a lot to offer clients in different countries to be able to help break through that, and we're having success with that right now. So we're meeting with the cosmetic companies from Northern Europe. That's that 7 a.m. call I was telling you about. And then we expand. Like we have an entire Red Bear team in the Philippines. There's 7 vetted, contracted employees there. So, bringing those people together in one area and letting them represent Red Bear there, I think that's important for culture. Doing
Mhm.
the same in Spain and doing the same in Amsterdam. So, and the Amsterdam one is just so I can go hang out with my family and
Have you
drink
been before?
drink by
That's
the
still
can Oh my
my
god, I've
kind of
been there
bucket
so
list.
many times. I
You
love it
have
there.
been. That
Uh,
is it worth all the fuss? Shall I ask?
what, Amsterdam? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing that people don't realize about, like, people, you talk about Amsterdam. I mean, I love it. I tend to stay away from the touristy parts because I've done those, but they don't realize that the little towns outside of there, like if you go into Grand Central, just jump on 10 more minutes and you're in Haarlem. And it's that old style Amsterdam that we always think about, or go over to Utrecht and it's still all the canals and everything, but it's a little slower pace, not so many tourists, but you get the exact same vibe. And there's so much, like, I mean, Holland's tiny, right? The Netherlands are tiny. There's all kinds of places you can go and really enjoy what I love about the Netherlands. But I love the people too. The people are so cool. I love them so much.
Yeah, you clearly like to travel about.
I do. And I did come to your neck of the woods. I do like it there. It's
What, UK?
London. I came to London. Yeah. I love that city too. That
Uh-huh.
city is magnetic. It's cool.
Yeah. So in regards to your future plans for
Hmm.
Red Bear Films,
Yeah.
where do you see the business in the next 12 months?
Well, in the next 12 months, I'm going to roll out this account exec idea I have, and I'm going to grow my sales team, and I'm going to open that office in Amsterdam in May. The
Ooh.
one in Spain is open now, and the one in Philippines is open now, but I'm going to physically be at the one in Amsterdam.
I bet you
And then,
will.
yeah, yeah. And then we're dealing a lot with government contracting right now with the new CMMC 2 rulings, because we work for the Department of Defense so much. We have to step up and have this very expensive security clearance. So we're working with partners on that. So it's a big thing right now that we're doing. And then we're shaping our voice in this new era that's been caused by AI and the shift in Google and digital advertising in general, and really trying to create a company that we all want to work at, we all want to work for, and we love the clients that we work for. And that means maybe getting a little picky about it, but then also making sure that we're profitable enough that our employees are really enjoying it. Like I always say, we're a life first company, and that's important to me, because advertising, I always say, is for young people. It can really be a grind, and
Mhm.
I go out of my way to make sure that everybody still has a life, even in a remote world. Like we have a studio, we
I
have
think
offices.
especially in a remote world, I think it's more important than ever.
It's 100% optional to come into the office,
Mhm.
and people are happy. We've got pretty
Mhm.
decent employee retention, and
Mhm.
I just want to keep growing on that. So we're working big on the narrative and what Red Bear is and what we want to be. And we're literally in the middle of it right now. So we're getting close.
Mhm. A lot of exciting things happening.
Yep. Well, maybe I
So,
can
hi.
figure out this sales funnel.
Maybe. So hypothetically, if you obviously, I think you already answered that question, but if you had a magic wand and to fix one thing in the business right now to help you with that growth that you have in the next 12 months, what would it be? Would it be that sales funnel?
Well, yeah, it would be, right? Even our own clients are searching for that same thing. I'm really kind of looking in a mirror, if you're being honest with it, is just like, how do I fix my sales funnel of clients that I want to work with, right? Like, isn't that what we do for our clients now anyways, in a sense? But I don't want it to be a purely transactional deal. I do want it to be a symbiotic relationship where, yes, I'm getting money from you, but I'm solving your problems and making your company be successful. And to me, that's success.
I'm doing this new thing, PJ, where I ask you if you've got any questions for the next guest who will be on the show. So do you have a question you would like me to ask the next agency owner I will have on the podcast? Could be personal, just anything at all.
I don't know. How do you deal with the sales funnel? What's your solution for that? I'd be interested to know what those people do because, like I said, there's a lot of things I've tried that don't work. Uh,
Hmm.
what do you do? I mean, the days where you could just stand on your work, that doesn't apply anymore. There's just too many moving parts. So yeah, I'm an open book on that right now. I'm questioning
Hmm.
everything. So I would ask them, what do you do? How do you
Yeah.
fix it?
Let's hope they reveal a little bit of that secret sauce. And then I'll let you know.
You gotta call me. You gotta let me know.
Exactly. So if people were interested to learn more about your services or about you, where could they find you?
Yeah, just go to redbear.tv.
Hmm.
We're there. We're in the middle of a new website. Everybody says that. We're in the middle of the new website, but ours is really cute. We had these bears created that run onto the screen, and then you pick which market you want, and then they come out. They're not there yet. We're still coding
Oh,
it.
come on. You got me excited for
Yeah,
no reason.
we're still coding
I
it,
was
but they're
just
so
checking it
cute.
out
These little
now.
bears, little fat bears run out. So that'll be another month. But yeah, just redbear.tv. See us
Yeah.
there.
Thank you, PJ. It's been refreshing having you on this podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me.